Stephen Pena with Kleen Supply Company here on Galveston Island. Today I've got some experts with me in the marketing world. We're going to be discussing marketing and AI and how we can bring that to our small businesses here on the the coast. So I want to start by if we could each introduce ourselves and kind of give a brief overview of how AI is impacting marketing in your world today. Steve, we'll start with you, please.
Can you hear me okay? There we go. Yeah, my name's Steve Paterson. I own a company called Paterson Consulting Partners. We have offices in League City and Denver, Colorado. What we are is we're a fractional CMO services firm. So we actually act as your marketing department for your company on an outsourced basis. And we service customers coast to coast in the 3 countries currently. And what AI has done to me is I've been actually putting it into our playbook now for almost 2 years, over 2 years now. Actually went to the point of going to the University of Texas in Austin and actually getting certified as a prompt engineer for ChatGPT. And we are now using it, introducing it to all our clients on how they can have, and this is the best way I can produce the way it's changed marketing, is that AI is your personal administrative assistant you always dreamed of having. And it can literally become you. And I think it's having an effect in businesses in 4 major areas. One is brainstorming and using it as a partner to brainstorm. The other one is in customer service. It has a huge impact in customer service. And then also in developing content and marketing materials as well for your company. And in the last 2 years since ChatGPT was introduced in November of 22, it has dramatically changed it in a lot of positive ways. Probably the most important one is efficiency and speed in those areas. So it does things now that would literally take myself or my team 2 to 3 hours to do, and can literally do it in 10 minutes. So I think it's having a huge impact on efficiency, providing support that can actually learn to be a primary team of your member, of your business. I'll pass it on.
My name is Liz Rogers. I'm the owner of 5 and 2 Marketing. We're headquartered here in Galveston, Texas, but we have clients all over the world. We're a turnkey marketing agency. We provide services from branding to social media management, public relations and communications, web design, kind of the whole gamut, and we too act as an in-house marketing team for a lot of our clients. And AI is a really exciting tool for us, and mainly we're using it in the efficiency spaces and the creativity spaces. Efficiency in terms of analyzing data, making decisions for our clients, and then in the creative spaces in really making quick decisions and being able to brainstorm really efficiently with our clients and among our team. We work mainly in large-scale disaster response, maritime, oil and gas, construction spaces. And so we're looking at really fast-paced environments, so those efficiencies are tremendously helpful to us. On the flip side of that, we're not just being more efficient, we're helping our clients find those efficiencies within their businesses as well, and teaching them how to use AI tools that are geared specifically for their industries, whether it be legal work, analyzing data in critical spaces. So that's been a really exciting thing for us as well. I think you'll probably hear that echoed among all of us because we're all sort of honing in and using it in very similar ways.
Yes, absolutely, I agree. I'm Jess, and I own jcmm.social, and we are a digital marketing agency. We really focus in bringing the authenticity of you back into your messaging. We do that through social media marketing, email marketing, blog writing, website design. Really, any content that you see over the internet, we can help you with, and that's what we specialize in. As far as AI goes, I love AI. I'm your AI auntie, okay? It really has leveled the playing field for small business owners. It used to be that you had to spend a ton of money to even try to keep pace with businesses that have access to way more money than we will probably ever have access to. But AI brings in that efficiency. It brings in insights that you would have had to pay tens of thousands of dollars for in the past that you don't have, right? So I really love that it gives small business owners a chance to step up and have more success than they would have had in the past.
Hello everyone, my name is Janese Maricelli. I'm with JanMar Agency. We are a marketing and small business consulting firm here on the island. We are headquartered here, of course, but we do work regionally as well as nationally and internationally. Just much like my colleagues have mentioned, we're dabbling in AI for the last few years. We've used it to help several of our small business clients in multiple ways. I think, again, the most important faucet there is efficiency and analyzing data. So again, as Jess just mentioned, for the small business owner, it's really changed the game. I don't want to reiterate what everyone's already said, but there are so many tools that are available to you now that only a few short months ago were not available. And so with the right amount of research and the right amount of networking, you can easily find ways to level up pretty effectively.
Thank you all. Janese, let's start with you. I'm a small business owner, and I've got limited time and limited funds. What's a affordable marketing or AI tool that I can just start tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. So as many of you all have mentioned, ChatGPT is probably the first thing that comes to mind. It's extremely useful in several different ways. It is a free option for you. There are paid options as well, which offer a little bit more, I guess, parameters. But as far as ChatGPT is concerned, it can be used for structuring not just blogs, but additional content as far as writing is concerned and content creation. There's also prompts that you can put into ChatGPT for creating structured strategic plans, as well as timing of when those campaigns should hit. So that's a great one. One of my favorites is MailChimp, which is an email marketing platform. MailChimp does also offer a free version as well as multiple paid versions depending on how many contacts that you're trying to reach out to. But this is really great for not only keeping tabs on who you're communicating with, but how often they're opening your emails and communicating back with you and looking for additional information. There's wonderful automations that you can set up in MailChimp to help you, I guess, delineate your customer types. So specifically, if you have repeat customers, they can get one message. If you have potential new customers, they can get a separate message. If you have specific pricing structures that need to change, that can go out to certain segments. So beautiful tools as well as all sorts of automations you can use in MailChimp. And then the third one that I like to mention, there's Canva, which is a creative tool. Several of us up here are probably really familiar with that. Those of you in the audience that aren't familiar with it, it is a graphic design assistant tool, and it allows for templates. So it makes it very seamless for those that may not have a lot of graphic design knowledge or expertise. It is a free platform. You can do a lot with it. And then, of course, there is a paid version as well, which allows you to do a little bit more. So just three basic platforms right off the top of my head, but there's hundreds.
Awesome.
I'm not stealing your moderating position, Stephen. Janese, I bet there are a lot of people in the audience who don't know what ChatGPT is, or maybe have some trepidation about it because they hear it's going to take over the world. Will you explain to everyone like what it is and how they can like sign up for it and stuff?
Right, absolutely. So it is a free service, and you can start by just searching it up, ChatGPT, and you log in with either a pre-existing Google account, or if you have, I think they offer other accounts through other email platforms, or you can create an account straight there with ChatGPT. And it's hard to kind of explain the breadth of information and what you can really do, but it's very much dependent upon the prompts. And so to give you an example, if you're looking for a 500-word press release on the opening of your new business and the services that you offer, you can ask ChatGPT to create a 500-word press release, including these services, these hours of operation. But what I've found is it's much more beneficial if you have come to understand and studied your prompts or the questions that you're asking. So for example, you can say, I would like a 1-month strategic social media marketing plan for my small auto detailing service company. Structure this marketing plan into 7 days, 3 posts per day, including X, Y, and Z. And ChatGPT will pump this out for you. So can you elaborate a little bit more on exactly what the ChatGPT stands for, or what exactly the tool was designed to, I guess, start us with?
Yeah, I think initially it was intended to generate content and type content. So I think it's a prompt text tool, which is where the PT comes from. I don't know what the G stands for. I should know that. But what we're seeing is that not only is it now prompted correctly to develop plans for you, but we're seeing people develop travel itineraries when they travel abroad. They're prompting it to, please write me a 7-day itinerary for my trip to Italy. Please give me 25 ideas on what I can do with my kids over the summer. You literally, the quality of the prompt that you input into ChatGPT can really shape the output that you get from it, and it applies to literally everything. However, I want to say that is all an aggregate of information that is brought in from the internet. That doesn't mean it's authentic. It doesn't mean it's accurate. So we still have an obligation to vet information that ChatGPT is providing to us, and then also to help it identify a voice through that. So what Janese was saying about, making sure that you're specific about how you're prompting it, in terms of your geographic location, in terms of your audience, write this for this audience in this area, helps it to shape a response that's way more appropriate than if you just tell it, write a 500-word essay for me about Small Business Association. So it's really fun to play with, but all of that in mind, that I think there is some anxiety about, is it going to take over? It still is, it's automated, right? And so we're still obligated to vet the information that's coming out of it for accuracy. Does that help?
Thank you, Liz. Steve, you want to jump in?
I know Steve has a degree in this, so why are we talking about it?
Yeah, so what ChatGPT is, and Google Gemini and some of the other ones, is a large language model. In other words, it's a series of programming of algorithms that are designed to do certain things. And prompting is the key word. It's literally garbage in, garbage out. It's that simple. So what you have to learn too, really, is how to frame questions. And really, don't take the first answer you get. Refine it. I do some things I do up to 10 times, and to get to the answer I can do. But I tell all my clients, well, there's two ways you can learn about ChatGPT. There's the expensive way and there's the easy way. The expensive way is you can hire me and I'll train you how to do it. The easy way is there's this wonderful tool out there called YouTube. And YouTube, there's great videos out there on how to use ChatGPT and prompting models and how to do things. But with any other software program that you do, just like when you use to learn how to use Excel or Word or anything else, you have to put the effort in to learn how to use it correctly. Once you do, what it can do for you is literally endless. I actually asked it to do this for me this morning at 7 o'clock for one of my clients because I needed something rushed that they could look at. I wrote and told exactly and prompted the way I wanted to do, and using a couple code snippets that I put in there, it built a 4-page complete website for me in 6 minutes that was usable and online within a half an hour. So, I mean, it's really a learning experience on how to use it correctly. It really does have unlimited possibilities. It's just how much time you want to learn to use it and the time you want to put into it.
Thank you, Steve. Jess, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, so everything y'all said. But also, I know we're focusing a lot on ChatGPT. And I also want to point out that there are a lot of other really great AI tools. In fact, almost any app you use, from project management software to Canva to Adobe to anything else, now has an AI integration. And I freaking love that because, one, I'm a Gemini girly. Like, I might be the only one up here that's like, I'll ride for Gemini, okay? ChatGPT is great as well, but I just prefer Gemini. Gemini now has an integration on your Google Drive workspace where you can open an email and it can be really long and you're like, man, I want to see what's in that email, but I don't have time to read that. Your AI assistant on the Google Drive will summarize that email for you in bullet points. On your Zoom app, okay, you can turn on your AI note-taking assistant. And it will bullet point out for you everything that was discussed in the meeting in the list of prioritization. So if you have an hour-long meeting, you can't remember what you said 55 minutes ago, but it was really important, it's gonna be in that note set. So explore those, you know? I mean, I think the world knows that most people aren't mega techie. And so these apps are slowly evolving to be more user-friendly, but you absolutely have to have quality input to get quality output. So that's what I would say.
Thank you very much. Well, Jess, while you have the microphone up, let me ask you a question here. I have my existing business set up. I have my existing customer database. How can AI and marketing help me improve customer engagement with those customers? I'm a small business owner, and again, I'm limited on time and resources, and I can't check in with them every day, every week, every month. How can this help?
Well, for one, automations, right? So when it's your DMs or a chatbot on your site, like everything does need to be trained. And to be honest, if you're going to do this for your website, you should hire a professional. Like I will live on that hill, okay? Because a chatbot needs to be trained appropriately and to respond to your customers appropriately and not come back with something crazy that you're going to get sued for, okay? But that is nice because it does give that immediacy of a response so people don't feel like, man, I've been waiting for days for someone to get back to me. But on the other hand, authenticity, especially now that everything is so streamlined, remember, we all have access to this, okay? That's also kind of a problem. So authenticity and relatability, we are lacking in that because when I open my social media feed, I see untrained ChatGPT model, untrained, because everybody's copying, pasting captions, and they suck, to be honest. They're not very well-trained models, and it's just gobbledygook, and it does not resonate with your audience. It will not get you sales, okay? So you still have to use it to speed up your time, but still keep yourself authentically in whatever content you put out there, because that is what will increase engagement genuinely, is you, not this machine.
Very well said. Thank you, Jess. Liz.
Yeah, I just want to echo that. I think we're in a digital age where speed seems to be everything, but the one thing that you have is that you are uniquely you, and your company or your brand has a unique voice, and that is the connection between you and your target audience. There are going to be a ton of banks out there, a ton of home construction companies, a ton of maritime companies. But what makes you uniquely you is going to be the connection point, and there's no bot or automation for that piece of it. So I think that what we have to prioritize is a blend between the efficiencies and the authentic voice. So absolutely.
So what I'm hearing is it's important to make sure that authenticity is built into all of these AI mechanisms. Steve, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I totally agree with the authenticity. But I can tell you that within 6 months, AI will be at a point where, and it's already being used in some cases, where there'll be an avatar of you. You speaking, not the chatbot, coming up on your website. You will feed an immense amount of data, so it learns to be you. It speaks just like you. It will do everything you do. So what it really is, what I'm looking forward to, is 24-hour customer service on your website. And this is critically important for small businesses who are mom and pops, who can't afford to hire that answering 24-hour service, and and don't want to lose an account because they weren't looking at their computer for a couple hours or didn't look at their email. And this is where it's going to become incredibly effective, is when you're going to actually have an avatar of yourself. I've done some of the work for our company. I have Steve AI. He's my personal assistant. He actually does a lot of stuff for me. A lot of the stuff that we we're just talking about, because we do use Google Gemini. We're playing with it right now. It will actually text me an important email that's critical to me, and without me having to look at my email now, and doing things. So it's a matter of learning to use it, or having a resource like one of us up here who you can hire to teach you, to train your staff on how to do things like this. We use a platform that, you're talking about low-cost platforms. We use a platform that actually was the first licensee of ChatGPT as a digital marketing company. And it's called NowSite AI. And it's a totally integrated platform that we put all our clients on. It does everything. I mean, everything. You don't have to have a separate service for anything. You don't need MailChimp, you don't need Wix, you don't need GoDaddy, you don't need anything. And it's all housed in one location, which makes it completely efficient. And because the AI is controlling it, it learns everything you do on that platform every day. So it becomes very, very, very centric to that customer, and it becomes their platform.
Thank you. Let's move over to data. We've talked about the immense amount of data and what businesses can do with that data. What can small businesses do to one, collect, and two, manage, and third, analyze marketing data that is coming in that they can collect? Janese, let's start with you down there.
Well, I really like to start with the Google platform tools. So several of us are familiar with Google. I like to say in the world of the internet, we don't search things, we Google them. So you'll find that Google offers several really great analytic tools. First and foremost, there's the Google Search Console, which can be connected to the back end of your website, which allows Google to place your site, index your site on the web, and then track any sort of web traffic. And then we've got the Google Analytics tools, which take that web traffic and data and they break it down even more into the customer type, geographic location, keywords used to search to find your site, so on and so forth. So these tools offer AI integrations as well, which help you analyze and better understand your data.
Thank you. Jess.
I would say on the efficiency side, because you covered that so well, is really project management software tools. I'm really loving that for our team right now. So instead of me taking an hour or 2 hours to catch up on the status of where one of our clients are, as long as my team is inputting notes like we've talked about all throughout their processes, I can use the AI in our project management tool to say, give me an update on account XYZ and have it here in a minute. How much did we spend on meta ads? How many posts have gone up in the week? What was their open rate on their email campaign? So as long as someone takes an extra 5 seconds on my team to put, okay, 56% open rate on email sent on this date and time, then I can aggregate all that in one prompt. And if a client calls out of nowhere and says, hey, what's going on with my account, I can say, hey, here's exactly what's going on with your account. And I really love the efficiency of that.
Yeah, I think everyone in here that has a business probably has a business Facebook page. So Meta has tremendous tools that you can use to look and examine your data. It's very low entry point, so that means you don't have to be a super geek to get into the data, but it can tell you a ton about your audience and how they're engaging with the things that you're posting, the time that it's posting. Meta also has tools that are integrated that you can schedule posts to go out at an optimal time. So you're looking, it's examining when your audience is active on your platform so that you're scheduling things at times where they're most likely to see it. Use those free tools. You don't have to invest in a lot of expensive tools to take advantage of these technologies. And Meta is one of the best ways, especially now that it has connection cross-platform to Instagram as well. You're able to get a really, really nice view of how your audience is engaging and then make decisions accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at data, we look at 3 points. We look at acquisition of data, because everybody needs data, and you need to know where your primary focus in your customer is going to be. You need a management tool, so you need a CRM of some sort that can manage that data and also manage it to push it out. And then you need some tools to do that, whether it's texting, email, posting, And then again, if you don't have the analytical tools to do and look at it, I agree that probably Meta right now, as far as from social media marketing standpoint, has the best qualitative tools to actually do an analysis of what you're getting back. And the same thing I say with Google, because we do a lot of Google ads. We're a Google Premier partner, and we market extensively using Google tools. The other thing too that we look for is we have the ability also to data mine. So there are AI tools, inexpensive AI tools out there now that you don't have to go buy mail lists anymore. You can target using AI what clients you're looking for, build a model, and it will literally go out and search a database of 2.2 billion people and give you back those contacts. And we'll give you their email addresses, their phone numbers, their household addresses, their occupation, where they went to college. It will tell you everything. It's pretty scary. Their income, their housing, what neighborhood they live in. I mean, it is amazing what it can do, and it's very affordable. So data is a conglomerate of things and how you want to manage it.
Thank you, Steve. Liz, got a question for you. I am spending my entire marketing budget on an airplane banner for my cleaning supply company on Saturday afternoons to fly over the beach. Okay?
I love it.
Why? I don't think it's working. What am I doing wrong? What can I do to measure ROI and with a new marketing campaign?
Well, ROI is a great thing. I think Steve said before, garbage in, garbage out. If you are not specific about what you want the outcome to be and what we're measuring when we go into any kind of a paid campaign, then there's not a good way to tell if it's successful or not. So whenever we're paying for airplane banners or Google ads or Facebook ads, we want to know what we want someone to do when they see that ad. Do we want them to call? So is your phone number on the airplane banner, Stephen? Are people calling and they said, I saw the banner? Are they clicking through? Is it lead generation? Do you want someone to pick up the phone and call you? Do you want them to order a product? And so we're making sure that we're tracking those actions really intentionally. And that's what I would say is probably the first step in ROI is determining what it is that we're trying to prompt someone to do and how we're going to measure that outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I would say honestly, that's the goal, right? Like you run an ad to make money, but sometimes you run an ad and you don't make money and you got to figure out why. So I guess what I would add to that is not just to repeat, because what you said is 100% correct, but analyzing the steps in that process from publish to the end buy cycle and seeing where people are dropping off. Because you can have really great creative and really great copy, but if you have a poor conversion method, like if you are asking people to call, guys, millennials and Gen Zs, they don't want to pick up the phone. It's a nightmare, okay? Asking someone to call is probably not going to be as effective as asking for a DM or, hey, just having them sign up for an automatic email to their inbox with a link that they can click. So yeah, I mean, those are ways that you can increase your ROI by really analyzing the method in which you're asking people to buy from you.
Janese, what about the demographic? Am I hitting the right demographic? How do I know what the right demographic is?
Right, so that's dependent upon industry. So I would definitely say that clearly defining goals is really, really important. You know, before you start any kind of a campaign, whether it's a traditional campaign or a digital campaign, if you want to know if you're hitting the right demographic, you should first and foremost know who you're trying to target, what your goal is for targeting. So if you're looking for, you know, male, female, certain age, certain income, whatever that is, thankfully with digital ads, we have the ability to really fine tune who we're communicating with. So we've mentioned Meta, that's Facebook and Instagram. We've mentioned Google. There's also YouTube. There's 100 different ways to market when it comes to digital advertising. But it's really great because they offer for you the ability to fine tune, okay, this is the geographic location, the age demographic, the income level, so on and so forth. If you can dream it, you can fine tune it, narrow it down, depending upon the tools. A lot of the more traditional avenues, such as, you know, newsprint, publication, media, things like that, that's a little bit more gray because they don't always have such adequate tools in place. They can tell you the number they print, they can tell you the number they distribute, but they have a really hard time telling you, you know, readership per se, unless there's an audit. So I would say that any kind of traditional media, like an airplane banner or print, you really want to look for companies that can provide for you an audit of their numbers so you know that it's hitting the demographic that you want to hit.
I would say also that I think a lot of our businesses are still utilizing print or, you know, physical static advertising, but we saw the rise of this cool technology called a QR code during COVID, if it brought anything out. And so now we have a trackable mechanism that's built into print and static advertising. And so we have a client, for instance, that is building a community in Pearland. We have signage on the corners. So how do we know if people are seeing the signs? How do we know if people care? Well, we put a QR code on it so that they can scan it to visit the floor plan for that house that's going to go on that lot. And then we are able to look at the backside of that and see how many people have scanned that QR code and gone to the website, and then what's their action after that. So there are mechanisms now that AI is able to build into more static and traditional methods that help us make that more trackable and track ROI on things that are traditionally print.
Yeah, you know, building a customer avatar, you have to know who your customer is. Because if you don't and you're marketing the wrong thing, it's wasted money. You know, for somebody who made a living at running media companies, especially print media companies, for 35 years, you know, I wouldn't believe I was going to say this, but the difference between broadcast television and print media today, for the most part, unless it's direct mail, is it's that broadcast. You know, when you look at the average small brick and mortar business that does business in your community, 97% of their business will come within a 25-mile radius of that address. Any money you spend outside of that is wasted dollars, and it's a waste on your ROI. So what you want to really look at is you really want to look at, if you're one of those brick and mortar businesses, or unless you have something exceptional that you offer, you need to really, you know, own that 25-mile radius. How do you own it and brand it? And we work on two theories that we use with all our clients. One is called the thin market theory. This goes back to the 1960s. And basically what that says is that any part of your market, 1 to 3% of your market, is in the market for your product or service that day. Now, they may have been they may be in the market today, but weren't yesterday, and maybe won't be tomorrow. But you better have a brand, and you better have top of mind recognition. And then we moved to our second model, which is called the 5 A's. Now, I went to college, which was a lot of years ago, in marketing. We learned something called the 4 P's. The 4 P's are now a museum piece. They don't exist anymore. Now what we do is we operate on something called the 5 A's. And then what you do is, and this is the long-term thing, and I know it's coming up in this question about overcoming challenges, is that digital marketing is not an overnight bullet. It takes time. And you have to have clients up front and let them know. Don't make any false premises. This is going to take some time because we have to build brand for you. So the first A that we operate on is building awareness. The second A that we operate after we've built awareness for you is appeal. Why you, which you spoke about, which is very important, is what makes this difference. Why you over the 25 other people that do the same thing that you do within that 25-mile radius? Why should they come see you? And then having enough appeal that when somebody goes to make an ask, the third A, to buy something, that your brand comes up for consideration. Then the fourth A is acquisition. You become acquired. You make a deal, you've got great business. And the fifth A is probably the most important. And because the way social media works today, Google reviews and Yelp and everything else in between, you need to get your client to advocate. And those are the 5 A's. And we build our whole model around that. And that's how we build our clients up, because it's important that they understand that there isn't, I'm not going to, you know, it's not a silver bullet. It's going to take time. It's going to take money. But the nice thing about most digital media for small to medium businesses, it's affordable. It's not, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we do OTT and CTV for our clients, which those is if you ever watch Hulu and wonder how those commercials got on there, we buy those commercials. And I can buy 10,000 impressions in a zip code for under $1,000 for my client and target just that zip code. That's the amazing thing with digital technology. And if you combine that with AI video, the production cost for building those commercials now comes down to almost nothing in doing things. So those are a couple of things that I would say on that.
Thank you, Steve. So you touched on some of that, Nick. So I think what I heard is that maybe that My Airplane banner isn't such a great spend. But
Maybe if you get it on Microsoft Simulator.
So I'm hearing a challenge for small businesses is advertising in the right space with the right terms. What are some other common challenges that small businesses are facing when it comes into developing marketing strategies? Steve, if you'd start us off, please.
It's an old saying, but don't eat the elephant in one bite. Take small bites. You don't have to jump in with both feet. You can start very, very small. Social media effectively is free, unless you buy Facebook ads, which are also incredibly inexpensive, especially if you're working in that 25-mile radius. So, and you'll get great returns, but it starts small, and then as you want to grow, add things. But there's two things you need out of the gate. One is you need a good website. No way around it. If you don't have a website and you're in business, you're not in business. And the other thing you're going to need is an inexpensive way of doing e-commerce if you do online ordering. Those are two things you have to have. After that, a business account on Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and everything else. And this is a little bit of tidbit of trivia. Does anyone know what the largest social media business is? YouTube. Not Facebook, YouTube. A lot of people do not advertise on YouTube, and they should.
Sure. I would say that I think one of the common challenges that businesses face in terms of exploring AI is just that it can be very overwhelming. So my advice would be find the pain points and then be curious about the tools that are out there. So find the inefficiencies and the things that you feel like could be sped up or that you don't like doing, and then YouTube it. Honestly, but there are YouTube videos on how to do absolutely everything. There are free tools out there to teach you how to use Meta, to use Google Analytics, to use all of these tools. They really make it very easy for you to find out more and to engage with those different platforms and tools. So I would find the pain points and then just be curious about the solutions out there for them.
I would say a struggle that I see a lot from the outside and I hear a lot from people I talk to, it is that authenticity factor. And it's not that anyone is trying to be inauthentic, it's just that most of us, when we were growing up, we were told, hey, when you go to a job interview, you wear a nice suit, you do your hair, you do your makeup, you edit yourself, right? But in a digital space, attention is earned. Okay, it's not given. Just because you post doesn't mean that you're gonna get likes. It doesn't mean you're gonna get sales. You have to stand out in a world where most content gets buried. 98% of content doesn't get seen, because if it did get seen, none of us would be addicted to our phones. Quite frankly. So I see a lot of businesses step forward and they try to be like everyone else. Well, I saw this business had a great ad and a great polish and it looked perfect, and they must be making a lot of money because it looks nice. We don't know that, right? And then now when you try to be like them, neither of you are standing out. So what you have to offer is yourself, and let your personality show through. That is gonna be content that sticks with your audience. It's not gonna be because you had the best graphic or the most polished video. It's gonna be like, wow, I really liked that guy. And I think I wanna buy from him, not him. So authenticity truly is the biggest thing. Like, you have the efficiency now with AI, but just be yourself.
What are the common?
So as far as challenges in marketing and AI are concerned, there's several. I think one of the biggest ones that stands out to me is adoption, right? So whether you're working as a sole proprietor individually in your business, or you have a team, a large team, a small team, and Stephen and I were talking about this earlier, trying to get people to adopt the new technologies is always challenging and painstaking. So as Steve so well put it, don't bite the elephant all at once. Just take small chunks and try to work through an adoption plan that makes sense for you and your team. I love the discussion about authenticity. I think that's really big. And to speak a little bit more to being authentic and social media marketing specifically, I think it's important that you don't get hung up on vanity metrics. A lot of our clients, I'm sure everybody will attest to this, everybody wants to have the most likes, the most followers, but what does that really mean for you? If you're authentically speaking to your true audience, your true demographic, then it doesn't matter how large the numbers are. What matters is the conversion rate. So find your voice, find out who your customer is, and speak authentically to them. Don't pay so much attention to growing your numbers insanely fast if it's not authentic and true, because those clients will not stick with you. They will not buy from you.
Thank you. Let's move to ethical considerations. We're talking about AI and AI, ChatGPT, a lot of garbage in, a lot of garbage out. What ethical considerations do I as a small business have to my consumers and to my customers when using AI for marketing? Please, we'll start with you, Becky.
Well, one of the scariest things I think that we all need to be really aware of is that garbage in, garbage out, but anything in stays in. So if you're going to use these tools, do not put customer birthdays and credit card numbers and passwords and anything that you don't want the rest of the world to have access to. Because as soon as you make it available, it is now available for the entire world to see. So that is, I guess, the biggest challenge, I would say, as far as ethical concerns. But there's also an important role in communicating to your customers that you are using AI tools for whatever reason that might be. So if you are sending automated emails, you might say in the subtext, this is an auto-generated email, please feel free to contact us if we have made a mistake, so on and so forth. So I think it's important to realize that these tools are tools to be used to help, but they are not the end-all, be-all solution.
Thank you. Jess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they are an extension of you, right? And the privacy is huge. Definitely do not put anything sensitive about yourself, your company, your customer. Fact checking is really huge. So because these things help you work faster and more efficiently, they're not a replacement for your brain, right? They don't do gray well right now. And so you never want to go into a conversation with AI and think, well, if AI said it, it must be right, because it may not be. It might be, but it also really may not be. And this is your business, your reputation, your expertise. So don't doubt yourself, like trust but verify.
I think using the platforms that are really well established in the industry, because they already sort of have those bomb-proof bumpers set up for you. Email marketing, I get so much email marketing. I'm sure you do too, but giving subscribers an opportunity to opt out. We don't want to send massive email campaigns through your Microsoft Outlook account where people don't have an option to not receive that from you. Those MailChimp and Constant Contact platforms, have automatic links to unsubscribe. You want to be really respectful of people's data and of their time in their inboxes. So I would just say to use, and these platforms are set up for success, right? They're going to give you, those options already built in. So try to use the well-respected platforms and operate within those confines.
Yeah, if you're in a business that has compliancy regulations, is something you have to do. There are some AI software out there that's actually free, that you can actually take any email campaign or text or blog or anything that you want to put there on the internet and content. You can run it through it and tell what industry it is. It will tell you whether you're in compliance or not. And if you aren't, it'll actually rewrite it for you, so you are. So, compliancy is a big deal on that. Again, to reiterate, be able to unsubscribe and opt out on everything you do. The other thing is, if you are a business and you are operating on a server, that server service that you're working better have security. Because if there's a cyber theft and it came off of your site, you can be held liable. So make sure that whatever business you have in your business accounts are on there. Make sure it is secure. Or if not, or get some cybersecurity software installed on it to help you out there. It'll be the best thing you ever did.
Thank you. Thank you. Liz, we've got a lot of small businesses here who may or may not have that marketing plan together or are looking to start a marketing plan. Can you tell us of a success story where you have partnered with the business and been able to successfully use AI in marketing to build that company's customer base?
Sure, absolutely. So we use AI in so many different ways, but I'll just give you a specific example. We recently acquired a new client that is a manufacturing company on the West Coast. They have a very specific proprietary product that not a lot of people produce. We didn't know a lot about it. And so the learning curve for us as an agency to learn about their business and their model was pretty steep. But we also wanted to create a voice that could explain this product to other people and to other businesses because they're very heavy B2B as well. So we produced content ideas through ChatGPT, and we developed talking points, and then we collaborated with the client to vet those and to make sure that we were on mark with how we were explaining things, that all of our information was accurate. But you can ideate really well using AI and ChatGPT and Gemini. That's one of the strongest ways that we use it in general. But then also simple things like building email lists, and developing a plan for that. How are we going to treat an email list? And these email platforms have plans in place for you that you can already use. So it's just a matter of collaborating, learning about the tools that are available, and then finding the right fit for you. So.
Thank you. Let's see. Success story.
Got a bunch of them. It's nice to have a bunch of them, trust me. But to give you an example, so you can do a lot of things. So for example, there's a new restaurant in League City called Slate Table and Bar. They're one of our clients. And it's something that we started working on about 7 months before they opened. And we did a pre-opening loyalty program for them, for people who do things early. And before we even opened the restaurant, we had 479 loyalty customers who had never even eaten there yet. And then based on that, the day we launched, because of the loyalty program and the soft marketing that we were doing before the opening, we had about 4,700 and some odd website visits. They've been open 8 weeks now. And the web counter yesterday was 43,753 visits. And we do our ROI thing that we do. I'm old school. I do dollars. So my goal is for every $10 that for every dollar you spend, you should get a $10 return. And Slate Table and Bar, after 11 days, was operating on business plan in the black. And to let you know, I did their business plan for them, and I used ChatGPT to write their business plan. So when I know the earlier panel we had on getting SBA loans, you can use ChatGPT to not only write the business plan for you by feeding it the information you want, you can actually have it do the Excel spreadsheets to generate operating budget tools for you as well. And we do that for our clients. So we say, you're in the restaurant industry, this is what the market looks like, what should be the first year projections? AI goes out and looks all over the internet and looks at everybody else and says, these are reasonable. Here they are. And then you just tweak them and you fine tune it, and literally something you would have paid 3 years ago, $4,000 or $5,000 for somebody like me to do that for you, you can literally do it for free if you want to put your own time into it. And so there's all kinds of successes that you can do with ChatGPT and Gemini. I like Gemini too. I like Gemini's integration because it's so integrated with Google, and most everybody uses Google. It's you can, again, I tell people, and I've been telling this to people for probably 20 years now, if you're a new business, the most important hire you can make First is not a janitorial service, not even a receptionist, a digital marketing coordinator. Because if you and your business don't live online today or have somebody to do that for you, you literally don't exist. 97% of purchases last year were made by some type of interaction with a mobile device. So, that's a success for us is, I just like that. And I'll shamelessly do that. I've seen a couple nods out here in the front. Yes, Slate is incredible. They have great food and a great wine list and some amazing craft cocktails. So if you're looking out for a treat for dinner one night, I highly recommend it.
Steve brought up a really good point. We live in such a disaster-prone part of the country, and communicating digitally is the most effective way that we can tell people about whether we're open or closed, what services we're offering, resources that are available to them. And so, really having a comprehensive understanding and functionality, whether it be on your Google My Business page to show hours of operation, through your social media channels, through your email list and your website to express our, we just saw over the past week with Beryl, so many of our business partners in the community struggling to communicate with the world that we were back and open for business. And if we don't have the efficiencies on those platforms, then we're really losing out in real dollars. And I think Steve makes a great point with that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Liz. Janese, success story. What can you add?
So just briefly, we were able to work with a new client prior to the inception of the business on a social media strategy through various AI tools. We did also do a sort of a soft opening for this business based out in Costa Rica and saw tremendous traction. With those numbers and the data that we received from the initial campaign, we were able to fine-tune the campaign and increase our traction, increase our numbers, targeting specifically those that were interested in what we were offering out in Costa Rica.
Awesome. And Jess, your success story.
I love y'all's success stories. They're amazing. I think for us, we really use AI as kind of our partner when we're initially storyboarding a client. Every new client we like to tell a story for because I believe that it creates customer loyalty. People want to stay and watch that story of you and your business unfold, and then you're going to want to anchor it to an emotion. An emotion comes from pain points, and we do a lot of pain point ideation with our AI, and then we take it to our team and we expand and we apply the humanness on top of it. This tends to get us really great results because we come out immediately with the business, and then all of a sudden that business starts getting reactions of oh wow, these people understand what I'm going through, because people have a desire to be seen and they have a desire to be heard. And if you're only out there telling them what you do, then you're not achieving either one of those things. Another add-on about AI is we've seen traffic patterns shift, where you might know a business in person and then go to the website and then maybe go to their social media or maybe not. But if you have a decent enough digital marketing footprint, AI will actually serve you up as a suggestion to a customer that's looking for you. But you have to have that good website. You have to have the ads. You have to have the social media. You have to have enough of a presence for AI to be oh yeah, this would be an appropriate suggestion. So it's just another reason to really have a presence in this space.
Thank you all. What an awesome panel we've got up here. Thank you all. Well, I'm certainly going to cancel my airplane banner for this weekend and rethink that strategy. I think we've got a few minutes for some questions. Do we have any questions in the audience for our panel?
Yeah, I've got one.
Oh, there we go.
You don't need a mic.
Yeah.
I don't need a mic. I really. Okay, so I really, really appreciate all the pros that you talked about AI, but we also know that there are the cons. And you know what it reminds me of? AI reminds me of a contract with all this stuff on it that you can't understand it. and we usually don't read all of it. So I would say, my understanding, my takeaway would be, is AI is like, how would I say this? It's like the big print give it, and the small print take it away. So you really, really, really need to investigate in it, because look, there's a lot of ethical concerns. So I just thought I'd throw that in.
Thank
May
you.
I speak to that? I'd like to speak to that really quickly. I wasn't sure if this was going to be a good opportunity to talk about it or not, but I recently sat on another AI panel through Vision Galveston, who's one of the partners here today, and we were discussing the pros and cons of AI. And one of the things that I wasn't really aware of that caught me by surprise is the amount of energy needed to generate this AI information. So it was compared one chat GPT prompt, and Steve, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I was told that one chat GPT prompt takes enough energy that required to charge your cell phone one time fully, 100%. So if you're generating response after response after response, you can only imagine the environmental impact on that.
Right. Next question.
All right. Again, my name is Shaz. I run a pressure washing business developing pressure washing theory. Help, please contact me. But
Great job.
Hey,
so like as a hobby of mine, I love writing, and at some point, like I used Grammarly, and then I kind of quit using it because I got really good at like writing my own words that like sometimes it would deviate me from the actual point of what I was trying to bring. So, would there ever be like a point where like you would deviate from using AI as much as like possible, just to like whenever you grow your audience, stuff like that? Like, would you ever have a point to like you would stop using it, or just like very little use it at a time?
I think I would say that if you're just dumping into AI, you're not going to get the voice that you're looking for your business. And that's probably why you deviated from using it, because you're like, you know what, I don't like this. I can just do it better myself. I would encourage you to keep pressing into the platform and shaping your prompts better. Not better, but just more authentically to you, and trying new things and trying different strategies to see if you can train the prompt to generate really efficient information that's like truly on point for your voice. I think that's the disconnect too. And I will say that I think, most of us, and probably from an agency standpoint, can spot AI text like that, because it has still a kind of robotic, funky feel to it where you're like, so that's the goal, right? Is we want to shape it and train it to where you don't ever sense that it truly is using your voice, and it knows your target audience, it knows what you're trying to say, and then it's generating it really efficiently for you.
Yeah,
not a replacement,
yeah.
But an efficiency.
If you use the paid version of ChatGPT, spend a little bit of money, it does have a way to have your own AI. It learns you. And the best way to learn you is if you, like, for example, you're in the pressure washing business. Do you ever have anybody video you and have you talking and showing you working on the job?
No, but I do that kind of like myself, yeah.
Okay, if you do that, and you actually do that, and you have, you can actually use YouTube to transcribe your vocal, move it into ChatGPT, and it will learn your speech patterns.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, what I'm leading to is about your writing. Once it learns your speech patterns and learns you can do this. So I had some fun with my daughter the other night, because she's a big Ernest Hemingway fan. So I sent her a funny email last night, and I told ChatGPT to write it for me, and write it in the style of Ernest Hemingway. And it did. And she got the biggest kick out of it. And so, I mean, it's like what you put into it, right?
My 16-year-old is using it to help write essays for school. That might be unethical also, but he will literally prompt it, sound less mature, because it's generating something that he's like, there's no way that a teacher is going to believe that a 15-year-old wrote this. So they're already learning how to shape it to be appropriate for what would be expected from a 15-year-old in English class. So like, it's fascinating.
ChatGPT is like $20 per month, all right? Yeah.
Well, and I also just wanted to add, listen, if you don't feel like what you're getting out is authentically you, just use the efficiency in a different way. Like, you don't have to use it on the creative public facing side. Like, you can still get a ton of value out of it and then still retain yourself in any copy or anything that you produce.
Thank you all very much. Again, thank you to this panel. And thank you all again for being here and taking your